Don't be afraid. Come to the light.
We are in the grain bin.
Don't be afraid. Come to the light.
Well, over the last couple of days, Dawn and I have been playing with our nuts. Today on Modern Self-Reliance, we're going to land the Apollo 5 rocket. Spaceman, oh spaceman. We're driving the Apollo mission into the sky. Well, good morning, guys. We're at the off-grid kitchen. Previously, we've built this awesome island out of some reclaimed skidwood, which is the big stuff, and then we milled out some walnut for the inlay there, and we installed a sink, and we plumbed it in with our rain collection system. There it is there. And then we put a deck all the way around it. So the only thing that I kind of discovered once I did this is that stuff falls on it, and what happens is it gets wet. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start the process of creating a canopy over top of my outdoor kitchen. And I'm going to build what I'm calling is a Grainbinzebo. So let's get started. Every day we shoveling. What do you think, Don? We are out here in a farmer's field. It's actually not quite too cold out today. We actually picked our days. It's always kind of windy. But what we have here is two giant grain bin lids. We are actually already taking the roofs, and now we're taking the walls, this one section of wall down here, and we're going to take the roofs. Now these are really cool. I like the structure. I like the look of these things. Oh, it's warm in here. Inside, this thing is cool. Okay, see inside, this is neat. There's the hatch. And there's really no good time to either assemble or disassemble a grain bin. Generally in the summertime, it's crazy hot, and in the wintertime, it is crazy cold. But although it's actually quite warm in here now. Top looks like it's in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of rust on it. Actually, the camera seems to be exaggerating that rust a little bit, but we're in pretty good shape. Taking it apart, there's only a million bolts in the thing, nuts and whatnot. And I've got some pretty neat uses for them. One is going to be an outdoor kitchen, and the other, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but they are neat, and it's kind of hard to come by. And a lot of times, when they've gone like a little bit rusty, the farmers don't want them anymore, and you can usually get them for a really cool price. But you've seen them like on Grainbinzebos, maybe on Pinterest or stuff like that, and they're big. Like if you look at them, they're like 19 feet in diameter, and this one happened to be about 25 feet tall in the middle, but they're cool. Extra cool. So our current plan is to disassemble the top ring and shed some light on the situation and maybe see what we're getting at. We're ended up snapping most of the bolts off, but that's okay. As long as it gets to the ground, we're gonna keep 2 panels intact, and then we have less to put back together. What's your initial impressions of this?
It's not too bad.
Not too bad, eh?
No.
Just snap them off and away we go.
Yeah, and I'm pretty impressed that they're not snapping off a lot.
Yeah, well, it seems like every other one. You can see it's kind of rusty, but anyways, it's not too bad. Now we're just working on taking the outer ring that holds the roof on, because we can't take the panels apart. We're going to probably take the panels all the way down to individual panels. They stack better, and they're just lighter and easier to carry. So, home stretch on the first bin. We're working on the second bin. This seems to be in much better shape than the other bin. There doesn't seem to be any rust on the inside. Just on the outside, which is fine, and yeah, everything's coming apart easy. We haven't broken a bolt or a nut yet, so this is how easy it is to kind of climb up. Now it is got to snow and it's kind of wet, but these rubber boots, man, I tell you, they're really good. High seas. There's a link in the description if you guys need some really good winter boots. I don't even think they're winter boots. I think they're actually hunting boots. But I use them in the winter, and they're really grippy. Top nut. All right, we're at the plan now, or it gets a little sketchy. We are more than halfway around, and the plan now is to undo the bolts that are on the outside perimeter and just gotta let her sit down nice and gentle, or so we hope. The other side, we had the top ring kind of disconnected, and we let her down, and it worked out okay. But this one, I don't know. We'll see. Oh, great. Are you safe? Well, we're about halfway done. It's not getting any warmer out. I figure it's coffee time. I got the old, I don't even know how to pronounce this. It's like the the Uten. I gotta call it the Uten. The Uten portable espresso maker. Like I need more coffee. I'm gonna try it. And what's neat about this is like it's got a little portable case here, and it comes out like this. And you're thinking it's like a little thermos. But what's cool about it is it's a battery operated coffee maker, or espresso coffee maker. So like here's your cup. You're all set. So what you do, I haven't actually used this thing yet, but I believe you put the water up top. So this is the pack your own sort of thing. Roll your own coffee, you pack that in there. We're going max over 70 milliliters of water. All right, a little bit of learning curve. Okay, so it tells you to turn it on. 2 seconds, beep. Now it starts the heating process. And it'll start brewing automatically. You just let it sit there. So I'm gonna just let it sit there and do its thing. I pressed the button prematurely and it started basically going through the filter. Don was the one that informed me. He didn't actually read the directions, but he told me, how's it gonna make it warm if it doesn't actually heat it up? All right, we're brewing. Okay, let's see. Fresh brewed espresso. Got it's piping hot. You can see the steam coming off that thing. See if I good. It's like the perfect temperature. Look how compact that is. It's not going anywhere. Whew. They're all strapped down. Got the panels. It's amazing that big building, 2 buildings, fits on a flat deck trailer.
Job well done.
Wasn't it? It was like, what's your 3rd grain bin ever, right?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
3 down.
3 down, 3rd one.
3rd one.
I think
How many more to go?
I don't think you can scratch it off your bucket list, like, cause you adding to your bucket list with that one.
That's just an additional.
Oh, okay. You wanted to do 3 grain bins.
Yeah, preferably 4, but who knows?
4. You might do a 4th one. You never know.
You never know.
We did another one before this, so this will be 2 extra ones. So we got a total of 3. So there we go. Anyways, we got it strapped in. We don't got that far to go. It's pretty good. Actually, they came apart easier than expected, so that's a bonus. All right, let's get her going. In order to get my grain bin started, I first had to figure out my layout. So what I did is I took my grain bin panels and laid them out roughly where they needed to be. And then I added a couple bolts to each panel to give myself the circumference I needed to ensure I knew where my post holes went. And then once that was bolted together, I put the top ring to give it a little bit more shape in order to ensure I knew where my holes are going to go, because it's a lot harder to move holes after you've dug them. So once that's done, I will dig my holes and I'll be able to put the roof on. All right, well, as you can see, I got a little some assembly required. I've got my tap and my die here because this is all used parts. These are all the discard from the erection of the last couple of grain bins I've done, and these are all the not great fasteners. So what I do is I just use a tap and a die and make sure my threads are really good. And it's kind of easy when you set it up on a table. You can kind of do all your stuff. So this is the roof. It needs a little bit of work to put back together. So that's the roof panel, and that'll go on top. So yeah, not a bad day for not a bad job for a sunny day. Well, now that I have the roof on my outdoor kitchen, I have the opportunity now to make stuff nice and actually be able to leave it out. It's not going to get wet from all the elements. So I'm up at the sawmill. This is the Norwood HD36. It is the workhorse around here. A lot of the projects I do wouldn't actually be, I wouldn't be able to do them because I wouldn't be able to afford doing them because I'd have to be buying wood. So in this particular case, I'm using a jig that I made up out of some 2x4s, and it allows me to mill up some really, really short pieces. I have some walnut that I picked up off the side of the road many years ago. It's been sitting there drying. I've painted the ends, so hopefully there's not that much checking. But the idea is to take my sawmill and actually cut really neat serving platters, essentially, or like shelves and stuff like that. I want to have a bunch of really cool wood down there. Lumber Pro HD36 from Norwood allows me to do that, allows me to kind of come up here and take something that would otherwise be, you know, firewood or castaway and mill it up to really cool stuff. If you guys are looking for a sawmill and you want to check these guys out, the link will be in the description below for Norwood's sawmill. And yeah, you can help support the channel by helping support the people that support me. And I highly recommend the Norwood Lumber Pro HD36 or any of their products that they sell. You can check them out with the link down in the description below. They've been a long time helper of this channel. Anyways, let's get milling up these charcuterie boards, get these things on and saw it up. I got a new blade mounted there, so hopefully I don't find a nail, because that's generally what I like to do when I put a brand new blade on it, but they don't like to saw nails. But yeah, let's get this thing on and let's get started. Look how big that is. It's nice. Actually, it's relatively dry, considering it wasn't milled. That'll be a nice little holder. And then I cut a bunch more. And then actually I cut some veneer, which is neat. So this would be quarter sawn because it's cut from the middle. You can see where the heartwood is. It's right down the middle, so that tends to crack all the time. Quarter sawn is when they cut out of like a quarter from the center of the log out, and that's why it's so expensive. So that, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do with that, but it's kind of cool. Really, really thin. As you can see, the precision on that guy, that's probably like a couple eighths thick. I've got a couple of bolts in order to just line myself up and then give this nice round structure to determine where I'm going to put my posts. I don't know, I may or may not cut this thing down to half thickness. I'm not sure of the aesthetic I want yet, because this is about 30 inches high. That might work, but I might want to go like 15 inches just to give myself a little bit more room. And then what I could do is actually take the panel that's down there and put it up here and give myself a little bit more stiffness. But I think I have to have the roof on before I do that in order to kind of get my shape, because I don't know how this thing's going to do. I usually have a level piece of ground to mount this thing on, but as you guys can see, it is not extremely level. So I'm just going to plug away. I've started digging a hole here. As you can see, it's just like solid clay. I've got my Bosch hammer drill that I'm just kind of working my way through the rocks and then picking away at the clay afterwards. Yeah, I got plugged it into the battery pack over there. And yeah, I don't know how many holes I'm going to do, how many posts I need, but I need at least one, so that's where I'm starting. That's a big potato. All right, update time. We've added another ring. So what we've done is we've doubled up the ring and we've bolted it together, adding some stiffness. So what where the joints were traditionally, we've got an entire panel overlapping them. So that is going to give us extra stiffness when we lift it up. Now, the step we're going to take now is we're going to actually put the roof on it. And once the roof's on it, then we can tighten up all of the bolts because it'll actually, it'll kind of straighten itself. We've got the laser set up, the K-Wheats laser, and we're shooting it all the way around. And we've got the actual bin on blocks. And that allows us to get close. You can see where our laser is. It's touching just kind of at the edge of the bolt. My goal was to have in the middle of the bolt, but that's close enough. And then we can adjust it once we put our roofing ribs on. I'm just working on taking off the cap. We're actually going to put a glass skylight in the middle, so we don't actually need this. We're going to lighten it up because we have to suspend this thing in midair in the center of the bin in order to actually add our roof slices, our roof pizza slices. How many times have you done this, Don?
Yes.
Putting up a grain bin.
Once.
What? This is your...
Taken down more.
We've taken quite a few down, actually. I recall when we took this bin down, Don. Do you recall the temperature? The wind was whipping out of the north. I think it was snowing ever so slightly. And the best thing about it?
It's finishing.
Was finished? What? Where there was no mosquitoes.
Oh, there's no mosquitoes. Yeah.
That was the best. That was the best part about it. Right now, you guys can't. Well, I guess you can see them. They're kind of. There's lots. There's lots of them. And this is an old bin that there was grain or something left in it. It was left to rot. I think it got wet, or it was too wet when they put it in, and it tends to make a bin go bad. And then once it gets rusted like that, farmers don't want to use it to hold their bin, their grain. Don's gonna get angry at that and start smashing. Oh, did you get it?
Broken.
Oh, okay, perfect.
That was my aim.
All right, we broke the bolt because yeah, we're just gonna put like a glass top on that, so we'll have in the middle, or we can have a retractable roof, so if smoke does get inside the canopy, it just vents out the top, naturally occurring. Or we could put like a whirly-bird on there, some sort of vent. This is gonna be awesome. Our other half plan was to put these stiffener bars. Now this would be if you were to install the bin on a concrete pad. This anchors the bin to the concrete pad, and we could use it as a curved angle iron for the bottom, but I'm not sure we're gonna need it. We'll put the roof on first and see. Here's the roof slices. As you can see, it looks like a big pizza pie. That's how you would climb up the roof to get to the top. I'm probably gonna keep that on there. That's kind of cool. And or I might take it off because it's heavy and it holds snow on here. Maybe I'll take that off actually. We'll see. What are you doing over there?
Fixing this.
Fixing it?
Yep. There we go.
There we go. We got our nice circular hat. Well, we almost got it done before the rain. It's getting a little precarious with the wetness. We might have to delay this slightly. We got 2 more panels to go. Give you the tour of the inside. This is what it looks like inside. As you can hear the raindrops falling on my head. As you can see, it's quite large. And once it's up in the air, it'll be quite cool. But it might have to wait for the rain to stop. But we're making good progress on this guy. This is kind of what you do is you put the panel on, you put it kind of finger tight on the nuts and bolts, and then the thing kind of works itself out over time. It kind of makes itself wiggle, and yeah, you kind of look at it and go, this isn't going to work. But for some reason, when everything's in place and you tighten everything up, everything is like perfect. It's wild, this engineering on these grain bins. Not sure how it works, but incremental changes make the whole thing work. But the top looks all wonky right now. But I know from experience that just keep going and then it'll just sort itself out. Well, over the last couple of days, Dawn and I have been playing with our nuts, and we've got all the bolts in, and we've got them all kind of hand tight. Now, my next process is to jack the top ring of this thing up in order to take the weight off of it, because it's like a hat, right? So what I want to do is I want to get it up as high as possible and then tighten everything, and then hopefully it stays its shape. So I don't know exactly what this is gonna do, but I'm hoping it's going to kind of pull it up, and then I can tighten everything. or it's going to make really loud creaking sounds. I feel like that's got enough weight on it. As you can see, there's bolts at the ends of the grain bin that kind of like they tie in this way. Or actually, they were really diagonal, kind of like this. And ideally, they're kind of perpendicular to the roof structure. And then when you cinch it in, it's going to pull the ring in, and everything else is going to follow with it to create a really rigid ring. And then hopefully, I can suspend it with 4 posts. But Don brought up a good point that if for some reason it doesn't want to support with 4 posts and it starts to do the funky chicken, is that we can add surface posts that are just going to be attached to the bin and then sitting on the ground. And they don't necessarily have to be in the ground, that's plan B if plan A doesn't work. So I'm going to tighten up some bolts and see what happens. And yeah, I think what's happened now is the thing has become more erect. And it's going to, if I can bolt it in that way, and put the nuts on and tighten everything up, it should maintain its shape.
Well, I'm going to introduce you guys to the star of the show today. These are, well, if you don't know what they are, consider yourself lucky. These are grain bin jacks. And what they're designed to do is you basically bolt them to the side of a grain bin, and you can raise and lower and take panels out. These are originally designed, I don't know when the heck these were designed. They are built just sturdy enough to lift and not collapse, hopefully. So the idea behind these guys is to position them like, divide your bin up into 3 sections because there's 3 jacks, and then evenly lift it up as you go. And yeah, it should just work. And then there's like a pin here that you pin it to the ground and hope for the best.
Ideally, when you're raising and lowering a bin, you don't want it to be crazy windy because the bin is like a giant sail. It has a lot of surface area. But in this case, the bin is simply just a roof. It kind of looks like an Apollo lander from, well, the space race, I guess. It looks like Apollo, the capsule sort of thing. Or if, you know, you're into that sort of thing, it looks like a giant hoop dress. I don't know. It shouldn't be affected too much by the wind, and these grain bin jacks are relatively stable. But ideally, you want a perfectly still day so the bin doesn't go eep, 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 like a giant bell. Catastrophe. So we're going to bolt these things on our bin and see what happens when we lift it up to see if it's going to, you know, just take off on us, or if it's just going to hang there nice and gentle, because we have to lift it basically to the max of this jack. Ideally, or typically when you would use these grain bin jacks, you would lift it up like 30 inches or so, bolt the ring in, and then lift it again 30 inches and then bolt the ring in and carry on. These aren't necessarily designed to lift, you know, an entire roof section 8 feet, but we'll see if it works.
Don, do you remember the Apollo missions?
Slightly.
It was because this thing looks like the Saturn V lander, does it not?
Wasn't as rusty, I don't think.
This is go patina. This isn't rust. They pay big bucks for that thing. It looks like I was talking about it before you showed up. I said it would look like the Saturn V rocket, or a giant hoop skirt.
Chris is down here. He's actually working on a what are you doing, like a nitrogen recovery system?
I'm working on my levels of frustration to see how frustrated I can get.
Is it part of Chris's swearing in the forest?
Well, I thought it was going to go smoother, and then it sank. So I pulled all the rocks out, and it's still sinking. I think it's probably gonna stay upright, but then I've exhausted the close plants. So the close plants are about 100 meters. The far plants are like 10 times as far, and I'm about a third of the way there. So
it's good. You know what's good news about this?
Well, there's 3 people here. That's the good news.
Well, the good news is I'm not doing it.
The good news is there's other people here to recruit.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Can I get this pail here?
Sure. Yeah. Those are my rocks. I've been washing rocks.
If everybody grabs 2 pails each, we'll be done in 10 minutes.
You know what? Why don't you let them spread?
They won't spread.
They won't spread.
They're gonna fall apart.
Well, I gotta lift this giant wiggly steel thing and put it on stilts.
Well, I'll trade you then.
You'll do that and I'll go get plants?
Yeah.
That sounds like a fair trade, actually. do-si-do, I think. I'll go this way. You gotta.
What holes?
Oh, we're gonna go in this one. This one right here. And then, there you go. All right, bring you guys up to speed. We have a couple of posts in, but they're extremely crooked because our bin didn't sit in the same footprint once we actually got it lifted up. And that one over there is particularly, you can kind of see it, how crooked that one is. No, that one's not bolted in, but this one's bolted in. It doesn't look that crooked on camera. Strange. Anyways, what we have done is we've attached a tire to a large stick, and what we're going to do is try to take some of the weight off of the jacks so we can reposition the jacks. So we're going to put it right up in the center there. We got a 20-ton jack. We're going to lift it up and gently kind of twist and adjust in order to get our posts. Because what we did when we first set it up is we had the ring and we dug our posts exactly at the sides of the jack. So hindsight, maybe we should have dug the posts while the thing was in the air. I don't know if that, I guess we could have, I don't know, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. This thing's like a wiggly worm, so it's difficult to work with. So we're gonna get that thing up in the air and see what happens and go from there.
Chris, we're not even done yet. What are you cooking?
Nothing, because we haven't caught it yet.
Wait, oh, you gotta catch fish.
Well, I'm gonna wait for the fire to die down first, because
Okay.
we're gonna have fresh fish. But yeah, we got everything ready to go.
So we've got most of the posts in. We had a little technical difficulties with this one, as in well, we moved it from there to there, and yeah, so now it's in the right spot. We got her pretty much leveled up, and now we're gonna cook a little bit of a shore lunch underneath our new outdoor kitchen. Hey Don, what's going on?
You know, just having a coffee.
Or is it Dad?
It's Dad.
Hey Don, how's it doing?
It's going good.
It's going good.
It's going well.
Excellent. Holy moly, Chris got a fish!
Might not let this one go if it's not hooked too bad. It's too small.
Oh, okay.
Small one.
I was pretty excited about that.
Right here. You want this one?
No. But if they're biting now, is he okay?
Probably.
Well, he might be okay. Look at him go. There he goes.
Go the other way, buddy.
Ah, he's okay. Just a little wound up. I guess that's probably where that comes from.
Oh, that guy screwed up too many times. We're gonna eat him.
You got a fish?
I got the same fish.
Got the same fish?
Well, it swam back.
Oh.
Kept swimming back to shore, so
Oh.
I'll take that as a sign that it's not gonna make it. Oh, we need to dry this off. We have any paper towel?
No. Air dry it.
All right. Well, you're gonna get what you get. You need to dry the fish after you. Otherwise, it doesn't.
Well,
work.
once we have this outdoor kitchen all set up, we'll have all the amenities.
Here, I'll just put the butter inside.
The people don't know about that stuff on my channel, I don't think. This is Wadobo. This is my brother's special spice. Wadobo! You can find that, I don't know, somewhere. Where can you find that?
On my channel description.
Okay.
Maybe I'll put it down in the description.
There you go.
One. There. I don't know if it's enough for everybody, but it's might have managed to catch. Put the pond dye in there, and it's blue. I don't think the fish can see, but it's going to kill the algae anyway.
It's gonna be a snack.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great afternoon snack.
One fish. The fish actually started feeding because they figured out that surf on top of the water to look at the feed because that pond dye blocked everything out. There we go. Keep
That's like
going.
a cartoon.
Just like the cartoon. Anybody want to lick the bones or give that to the cat?
Wow. Look at that. It just looks like a cartoon. It just popped right out.
And there might be some odd bones in there.
There you go.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Dig in.
Hey, Don and Dad can grab something. It's the rare. It's the same shot. Here, I can. I'll flip myself around. There.
Stick it in the butter too.
The butter?
Yeah, yeah. Sop it up.
I try to get no bones. No bones. Picking no bones.
Perfect.
That is good.
Very good.
Ah.
The onions are the key to that.
What? That's really good.
There's roll bones there.
I didn't get any bones. That's my biggest fear, is getting a fish bone stuck in my throat. There's no bones. I don't feel there's bones there.
Yeah, there might be some.
No bones.
It was almost too soft when I did it, so some of the bones kind of.
Stick with the,
Wow, that was pretty good.
stick with the meat.
Very good.
Well, so as you can see, the outdoor kitchen, you know, it's not inclement weather right now, but if it was raining, we could be under here enjoying dinner. You even got a little skylight, other than there's a tire in the road. So once that tire's gone, this will be perfect. Actually, we got nice breeze right now. It's coming in, and we're at natural convection. It's gonna suck all the hot air out the top, so it'll actually act as a natural ceiling fan. What do you think? Does that sound like it's gonna work?
Sounds like you haven't had some fish yet.
I did. I tried it.
You had some?
I did. I tried it. I just didn't. I'm trying
That
to.
might be full of bones. That one. It's that was the pin bone row.
Okay.
But I mean, you pick all the bones out. It's still good. It's just that's the
This is just our afternoon snack. We got our coffee too. See our coffee. We got our coffee. Afternoon snack. We're going to be picking away at this for a little bit while longer, but anyways, we're going to enjoy our fish snack, and this pretty much wraps up the build on this thing for the majority of it. There's going to be some odds and sods, but as you guys can see, this is pretty much the grain bin outdoor kitchen. It's almost too bright there. Let's see if I can do this. Anyways, well, I'll do some. I'll have a big tour of it just to show you. It's really cool. It looks awesome. There might be a little bit more things we can do for it, but if you guys have any more plans on this thing, if you guys have any ideas of what else is required in here, my thoughts are, let's just adjust this. It's going to be learning curve on filming inside here because it's always bright outside and not bright inside. My idea right here is to put a giant fireplace, a giant stone fireplace kind of off to the side. So when you're looking this way, you actually see just a giant fireplace, and you can just do marshmallows and whatnot, and it'll actually radiate heat this way. So in the shoulder season, when it's hot, when it's too cold, you can actually have some heat in here, and if any smoke gets in here, it just kind of vents at the top. I have a piece of glass for the top of that thing that will allow the smoke to exit the top, and then we have our cooker over here, which is on the edge. And the great thing about it is the smoke just kind of carries on up, and the other good thing about this thing, it's all steel, so it doesn't have, I don't have to worry about embers landing on it and catching it on fire. That's also a good thing. So yeah, it's really shaping up. What do you think, Chris?
That's good.
Did you think this is what it was going to look like?
Well, so what I was picturing it was, I thought you were going to use like the bin, the round part, and then you were going to make it like a.
I don't know.
Am I not in the picture?
Well, I
thought you were going to make it like a dome, like grab sections of it and then make it like a, you know what I mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah,
the
like
wall,
a tube.
the wall, yeah, the tube part.
Oh no.
I didn't.
See, this is way cooler than what you had in your head.
Oh, no?
Yeah, I thought it was going to look awkward because it was round and round. No, it complements it.
Well, in the grand scheme of tiny little pools, that actually cover might
Gonna go?
It might go away. I don't know. There's too many rounds, maybe. I don't know.
No, it's fine. I thought it was going to look weird, like, because it's round and round, but I didn't know it was this big. So it's good size. Like, there's lots of places to sit.
Well, it's almost 20 feet in diameter. Like, this is a lot of square foot. It's like 360 square feet. It's like 400 square feet.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of indoor space here. Like,
Yes.
when then the winter comes, we can hang out here because it'll be sheltered in the snow. But like once you get inside, it's like
Well, the idea
Not
behind,
not much to do.
but the idea behind here is actually you could stick kind of like a rain screen or even like a bug's curtain, like a retractable from post to post.
Yeah. Windscreen.
Well, yeah, I bought it. I found a bunch of this really dense gray screen that we could make curtains all the way around. Like they're,
The bugs aren't bad though, right now.
yeah. Well, I think once you get the dried out and yeah, the smoke. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, smoke's the help.
Well, doesn't she clean up nicely? Everything pretty much buttoned up. I got everything cleaned up. I've got my charcuterie board on the island. Now it's protected from the wind and the rain and all that sort of stuff. It can stay out here. I don't have to put the cover on it. The one thing I do hate most in life is tarps. And I had a tarp on this for the first entire season and it was just a pain. But now it's open air. It's got that enclosed, homey feeling. And it's got that open, airy feeling at the same time. I'm not sure how I managed to do that, but I like the way it turned out. It's got pretty much, you know, all the space you could require for a large gathering, and you know, have your friends, family over, whatnot. And you still got room to grow. You got actually places to put more things, more kind of creature comforts. It's a really nice outdoor space now, and yeah, for years to come, because yeah, it's built solid. I've got big plans for some other stuff to be down here. So if you're, you know, stick around if you guys are interested in this sort of thing. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one and join me on the next one.